Has has it did it is it started? I can't tell. How do you tell if it welcome? Watch to the welcome spot. Ta-da! I'm Kamurai and Red versus Blue. Since Red versus Blue is running again, this is going to be a weekly spot thing. I'm going to try to start out with it every week. So yay! Go over to roosterteeth.com and watch stuff because they've got cool podcasts. And Dude Soup, I think, is a new thing they're promoting. Like, I just started getting like mobile notifications from Rooster Teeth so that I'm closer up to date on things. But we'll see. We'll see how that keeps up. They put out a lot of things, and I don't know if I can keep up with it all. It's a lot of pressure, but it's usually pretty good. So, I do gotta go back and watch the sponsor cast. But Red vs. Blue, this week was a PSA, but that doesn't mean you should go back and watch episodes 1 through 4. Miles is definitely taking it in a different direction, but it's exciting nonetheless, and I really want to see the next episode. Miles, stop fucking with me. Because Agent Maine, he looked a little crazy, but he was a little crazy. Community over on screen.yahoo.com/community. I think this is just as good. I don't think it's lost any steam from coming over to Yahoo. I'm super glad that it's back and it's still a thing. That's the most important part to me. And I love seeing Jillian Michaels and all the other cast members because now I can't remember anybody else's name. Danny Glover left. But I love seeing everyone on the show. They're all really funny. This week was kind of like they were trying to take, like, Chang got himself famous or something. Ham girl, off like a line like that. Yeah, sorry, I had to build up. Oh God, courage to even do that. So, my apologies. But they filmed a shitty movie in a weekend to surround like footage of him banking on him being famous enough to make the movie worth something on its own and get the school like $500,000. Which honestly looked like kind of a fun project. I would mind doing something like that around here if we had like the barest of an idea and like somebody who actually want to do it. That's something I would much more rather be like a technical crew guy on than try to like drive. Because just trying to drive the gaming that I'm doing, the gaming that I'm going to be doing, Gamesville Circus, and then programming, and then trying to find a fucking job. Like, it's just a lot. But they make a ridiculous nonsense out of it. And for whatever reason, it's always funny watching Annie like trying to be slutty. It's even funnier watching Britta like get mad at Annie for trying to be something like trying to be more sexual or whatever when Annie comes off as a very innocent conservative person. And Britta's the slutty girl, but she is like a protester about it. And I'm sorry, but Britta Pay Your Rent is like, that needs to be a shirt. Pay your rent or shut the fuck up. I'm loving that. I watched a couple movies on Instant Watch here. One Small Hitch, and I rewatched Good Luck Chuck. I was feeling nostalgic. I wanted something familiar and to try to take me off to sleep and maybe take me back to the days of Good Luck Chuck and how honestly funny the movie is. Whether you like Dane Cook or not, the movie's actually done really well. There are a couple really offensive things written into the story. Stewart, in particular, is not a good character, but he's integral to the plot in a way that I don't think any other character could be. So he might be a necessary evil, maybe. But there's a couple things that like I would definitely switch around if I could. I'm not going to go into that right this second. But overall, fantastic movie. Yes, Cheryl was cute. She's klutzy. I think she was adorkable before Zoe Justinell like took it and made that into a word. because Zoe Deschanel was always adorable, but apparently at some point, like, it became. So Good Luck Chuck was a really nice one to go back and revisit, but maybe just a little too stimulating to try to fall asleep to. Or I hadn't watched it recently enough, because typically that's how I used to go to sleep, was like I put on a movie I knew pretty well, like Lord of the Rings, and then like I let myself get comfortable and bored with it and fall asleep. But one small hitch, I actually watched this before that. Really interesting is to shotgun it. A Jewish guy tells his dying father that his Catholic friend he's going to marry her, so that he can present to his father his father's happiest dream of finding or seeing him settle down before he dies. And then the whole hitch of it all, if you get my pun, is that they actually fall in love. And that's pretty obvious from the beginning. And you even have one of the characters being like, this wouldn't be happening if you didn't really... Blah, blah, blah. So it really comes down to this comical excuse of maneuvering around both families and trying... a mistress, and trying to pull off this grand, silly thing. And it's an adorable movie. It's a wonderful movie. Watch it, enjoy it. It's just not gonna win any awards, but yeah, she was pretty adorable too. And then I ran across this thing called Starcross. I clicked on it the first time because I thought it was a movie. I was like, is it Stardust? Because I was that tired. Like, it's not Stardust. I don't want to watch it then. Makes me sad it's not Stardust. But I read the plot for the pilot, and I was like, okay, this is going to be good, because they're going to do, like, sexy alien times. Because the whole point is that a ship crash lands on Earth, and one of the alien boys falls in love with a human female, and they're star-crossed lovers. Almost literally, but not, because we're all on Terra. So, like, but they started as little kids, so I'm like, oh, this isn't going to be sexy. Maybe this will put me to sleep. And then, like, they shotgun a little bit of stuff, and, like, they've got, like, this scene where she's all hot and sweaty jogging down the thing. I'm like, it's definitely supposed to be the same girl. They added a little bit of sexy, so, okay, so it's going to be, like, a teen romance thing. And it's really not that. There are elements of that exist, just like there are in almost any other show. But it's a lot of sci-fi. It's a lot of, like, really, like, humanitarian philosophy written into it, because they get put on a reservation called the Sector. Those who survive, because on arrival day, a bunch of assholes crash on our planet, don't speak English, and run around yelling and shit like they got shot. Let's just be honest. And so, especially since the ship crashing on its own would seem that it would be an attack. So we defend ourselves, and they defend themselves, and then we pick up everyone who's left and put them in a place. So they feel like they're imprisoned. There's a whole thing called the Trags that are a bunch of people who want to fight the humans and prove that they're the monsters that all the bad humans think the bad aliens are. But there's several sympathizers on both sides, so it's almost a political show, but not really, because there's enough sci-fi stuff there to keep it all at bay. So it seems to be a really good balanced show so far, and I'm waiting to see it go off kilter to see it get really interesting. But right now it's got me fairly intrigued. So we can go and kill that. Short week on serials this week, because I was late last week, which meant I was early for this week. So we're going to start with the Arrow. Or Arrow, not the Arrow, but the Fallen. So after fucking with our emotions over Roy, which was really nice, by the way, writers, Ra's al Ghul shows up and shoves a sword visibly through Thea, like rips her asunder pretty much. I was like, oh, she's fucking dead. You're just, like, you were toying with me before, and now you just want me to hurt. Because I finally like her ass, like, after, what season is this? Season 3. So after 2 seasons, I finally actually like her. And then you just rip her a new one, literally. But they kind of backpedaled on that because later it turns out it looks like a abdomen wound instead of like a knife through the chest or short sword through the chest, really. So they put her in a hospital and like she's in ICU, and then they have to break her out and take her to Ra's al Ghul's Lazarus pit because he's like 1,000 years old apparently. But of course, the Lazarus pit changes you because you're not supposed to be immortal, dumbasses. But the whole point is that Oliver concedes to becoming the demon's heir, which is bothersome just for the fact that Raz's daughter was supposed to be the demon's heir. So I really don't know how that's supposed to work. It just seems to muddle it. It takes our hero out of the equation. So out of the main equation, so it seems like that part falls apart again. He spends. I've never seen a show where the main character, when it is a character-driven show, spends so much time not in the story. Like, fuck, can we just like move on? I'm sure the comics weren't like this. If he left, the story went with him. It wasn't like, oh, Oliver's not here, we've got to continue Starling City. That's what the show should have been called, was Starling City, featuring the Arrow. And maybe they'll do that actually coming up. Like they'll be Starling City featuring the Arrow, the Atom, whoever else is in that fucking place. It's got to be like Gotham. It's got to be like in Metropolis. They've got to be lousy with fucking weird heroes and villains. The place where the Flash is from, that place is really lousy with super villains, metahumans. So you're gonna have to watch to find out what actually happens. But that's kind of my reactions, my feelings about everything. And I never actually said that he joined the League. I said that he accepted the terms. So chew on that the whole time you're watching it. Supernatural, the Werther Project. This was actually pretty interesting. I thought this was really kind of an ingenious week of writing. So Rowena and Sam are both doing lots of research to try to figure out how to remove the curse on Dean's arm. I can't. Oh yeah, Rowena wants Crowley dead. So like that's like on their to-do list, or Sam's to-do list at this point, anyways. So he agrees. It's not on Dean's to-do list though, and killing the Winchesters is not on Crowley's to-do list. He almost killed his mom over it. So there's this thing from the Men of Letters called the Werther Project that was holding the codexes of like some ancient witch, which of course Rowena wants. And she needs to decipher the blood book or whatever that Sam was supposed to destroy, but he didn't because he knows there's a way to get Dean out of there. And the mechanic that is in place throughout the entire series. We're on season 10, episode 19 now. So for 10 seasons, it's like we'll do whatever we can to save each other, and then we'll just deal with whatever happens. Oh, we started the apocalypse. I guess we'll deal with this now. And I always kind of felt like everything's kind of anticlimactic after that, but yeah, so the Werther Project was actually really interesting because the defense mechanism was that it got in your head and made you want to convince yourself to kill yourself, which was just kind of funny. Not funny that people were killing themselves when they shouldn't be, but funny that somebody came up with that as a defensive thing. But of course, because this is a hero story, they get the book. And of course, something dramatic has to happen at the very last minute. So I'm going to tell you they get the book because you knew that already, because you're smart. But there are some nice twists along the way with concerning Dean and Rowena, and puts them in a very nice position to do some very bad things. Moving on to the middle. Both the Middle and Modern Family were kind of weak this week, I'll be honest. Middle was, what was it? Frankie's dad's brother came into town, so it was like watching a middle version of Waldorf I wanted to say Hitler, but I know that's not his name. The two old guys from the Muppets, but all they're doing is fighting. It's going to bother me now that I don't know that. This is almost as bad as wondering where the Muppet guests go to the bathroom. Because the Muppets don't use the bathroom. I don't think there's ever been one scene of Muppets in a bathroom. So I know there's not one backstage because it's a very small backstage area. There's no green room or anything. It's the guests have their dressing rooms, and I'm assuming there's private baths in there. Okay, so moving on. Modern Family. Jay had to join a gay bowling league for the night and then comes out and disqualifies them. I'm going to save you that trip right there because it's not exciting. I'll be honest, I can't remember what else happened in the show. Normally there's something like really involved with like Phil and Claire and Alex and I want to say like they were trying to stay up and party and they couldn't do it because they're old. I think that was last week. I don't know. There was something about like how Jay thought the guy in the license was him, which actually is like a really deep, meaningful thing to talk about, and they didn't use it at all. Because you could like say like, are we really the person that we were 10 years ago? Are we better or worse for it? Like you could explore that for hours in a show and nothing. Grim Unhans. I'm torn because the Juliet storyline has way outsurpassed anything else happening in the show for quite some time now. She's really going full bore with it at this point. She is being brazen in the police office or the police station. She's confronting Adeline directly. Adeline has confronted Nick about being pregnant with his baby, and so now she has some kind of weird attachment to him, very similar to how she had an attachment with Renard while she was pregnant and while she still had the baby. So apparently, like, families are important to Hex and Beast. I really wish Nick would just make out with her rotted face at this point. Like, it's like if you just banged her, like it's one of the few situations where the problem would actually be fixed with some dick. It's ridiculous that like we finally have a situation where like that's kind of the solution, because it's not that he doesn't love her anymore, but they're looking at this whole thing as a problem. They're not accepting her. They're making her feel bad for something she can't control. And all she wants to do deep down at this point, because she's kind of liking compensating for it, is for Nick to love her. And the way you can prove that is by doing her like they should be doing. And he knocks up 2 Hex and Beast. What a grim. But this was actually a pretty interesting investigation. Like there's a ritual where like they used to apparently get together and like they'd go and they hunt man and bring boys to Vogue for the first time, so it was in control. They teach them about things and getting in touch with their baser instincts so that they can tap into that primal shift. And apparently Monroe did this once that he's not proud of, but he did. And now like they chase rabbits because they're all wussy little city kids and stuff. And I meant the adults. The kids actually seem to be on top of things. So like it was really a torn episode because I really liked both bits, and it actually had like a really good, meaningful villain that I don't want to give away, and some good philosophies built into it of like what it is to be Vessin, and it's got to be a lot of foreshadowing for the confrontations to come, where we have Juliet, who's now strong, battling other people that's strong. She doesn't want to be weak anymore, like a normal human. Last Man on Earth. I called it, I think. Hopefully I did it on camera. The new Phil Miller, Phil 2, has come in and kind of like just fucked up everything for the existing male population. Like, I could sit here and talk about it as a documentary, and it would probably be fine to be like, the new male has established his dominance. He is courted the females and stolen their attention from the existing males. The existing males scurried and tried to flaunt themselves to show that they can compete in dominance, but the new alpha is not impressed. Like, I could go along with that, but he is actually a benefit to the overall society. Todd's freaking out because apparently he never had enough respect for Phil to think of him as proper competition. But like, we're seeing everything go really primal, and Todd, I think, has lost his mind at this point. And Phil's talking about killing Phil, and Todd's getting on board. So if Todd's getting on board, I don't know. But like, when you literally have everything taken from you, and all you have left is this shitty town in Tucson, Arizona, with a girl that you'd never get if there was any other options for her, and now there is, and all this, like, maybe you'd go a little crazy too. I mean, they actually exampled it by, and I don't like that they did this, but it actually makes a good point. The two ladies, Nikki and Donna, like, were together. Like, they kind of clearly say that, and they say when they find Phil, first Phil, like, they're like, oh, I guess that chapter's over. Which to me says they were together, they were having fun, they were enjoying each other, but like, they don't plan on doing that anymore because now they have other options. Like, that seems like a bad message to me, because it seems like, well, they're into that, so they do that anyways, because they like each other. Like, just come across the last guy on the planet and like, it's just me and him, and be like, well, I guess I'll suck your dick. Like, that doesn't seem like it adds up. And I'm all for them having like bi-pan, whatever type characters. It just, the fact that they abandon that part of themselves, like, as soon as they are given another option, is kind of weak. But I think like the tribe's written those two off at this point anyways. I'm actually surprised that they didn't go and do something else. What was interesting, though, is that new Phil was actually threatened by old Phil by him actually stepping up and creating a farm. It doesn't matter that the farm doesn't work. It's not irrigated properly. It's the fact that he was trying something, and then new Phil was like, gotta dominate territory. I'm going to fuck his old lady. Which was the creepiest fucking sex shit I've ever watched. I mean, I've seen... Okay, message redacted. Let's move on. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Peralta in a clown outfit's just disturbing. It's a horrible thumbnail. Why would you ever do that to us? I don't know. I kind of liked seeing Jake get hurt. I'll be honest, because he's kind of an asshole. I just didn't like that the joke kept being like, oh, Peralta doesn't listen to Terry. And then the personal thing, like, the whole joke about the non-personal people getting personal is not the best. Like, I get that it's a joke, but like, we have to spend the whole episode on it. It would have been funnier if it's been something they mentioned in passing and be like, where have you guys been? Like, oh, we had to have dinner with our boyfriends and whatnot. That would have been funnier. And then really, like, Chelsea Peretti and the do-goody kiss-up cop, they're just there to put them somewhere so they could pay them for that day. That's really a waste of resources. And so, like, I don't know what they're doing on that show right now. Family Guy, roasted guy. I thought this was going to be awesome. A bunch of people roasting Peter. Like, make that the entire show. No, they had to go make Peter's feelings get hurt, and then he gets with a GabFest group of women friends, and then like he finds out that they don't really like him either. They're just being catty women. And I'm not saying all women are like that. I'm saying like there are certain catty women that are like that, and it's actually a decent portrayal of that. But like everybody has their opinions. Some people are more polite about keeping them out of your ears, but they're going to enjoy ripping on you when they find faults with you, and it's just how some people are. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not going to take a stance there. I'm saying that's what the fucking episode was about. But I would have rather seen the Peter Griffin roast where he actually accepted the fact that it was a proper roast, and we have a half hour of that. Let's do that, Seth. Let's do that. Um, Once Upon a Time. Every time I look at this picture and I see that I'm like, oh, who is that? Because it's not a face I expect to see on Once Upon a Time. And then it is a young face, so I'm like, why don't I recognize her? Like, oh, she's pretty, but oh, she's one of the kids. Okay. It's not saying like kids can't be pretty. I'm saying like that's why she doesn't stand out, because like it's not registered in my brain that she's a cute person on that show. But I don't know where they got the adult actress for Lily, because we find Lily. She comes back into the picture. You'll very quickly see why once you begin watching, because it's very interesting to see that all happen. And we know Zelina's afoot with Robin as well. So there's lots of things being set up in this episode. Like, we set up a lot of stuff with Regina and Emma, and then Emma and Lily, and then Regina and Robin, and then Robin and Zelina and Regina, and then Rumpelstiltskin and Belle and Will and God, I hate just saying all that. It's fucking exhausting. And we set up some stuff with Melissa's and Emma's parents as well. But I love that we brought Lily into the fold. What the show was missing, if it was missing anything, was new characters to put the spins on the old characters. Because just having the old characters spin themselves, not the most interesting thing in the world. Or at least I thought. No, you know what? I take that back. This is supported, and I will give evidence after I talk about Castle next. So Once Upon a Time, great show. I'm really looking forward to see where it goes and whether or not it ends, because it very well could, given all the deadly balls in the air. Actually, if the writer gets some ink, he may just write the whole world out of existence. I don't know. Castle. I really think the writers for Castle was going... Like, it must have been a combination of things. It's like, Molly Quinn really hasn't got enough time this season on camera. And I think we're overdue on these other people. And we've got a lot of scheduling conflicts. Anyways, this may be a good time to do one where it's daddy-daughter episode. So let's do that. And what have we not made Castle do? We haven't had him solve a murder on a plane. This will be great. It'll be without any of the police, so it'll be extra exciting. What about air marshals? Well, we'll just have him be the guy that gets killed. Okay. So that's the basis for the episode. That's a better basis than they give, honestly. He has to solve a murder on a plane, but they do the typical thing where, like, they end up detaining 3 people, and one of them's actually the right suspect, because apparently that's how you catch bad guys. But with the resources on the ground and Wi-Fi in the air, I think they managed to do it, because they're going to manage to do it. I can't talk about Castle and surprise you with, and they fucked up and put the wrong guy, because we've killed off the reoccurring villains. We don't have a current one at this point. I take it back. Well, one guy's like in office somewhere, but he's blackmailed into not doing anything. But to support what I was talking about, I've got 2 more topics to talk about, and then I will be done. And I will come pet you. Promise. Into the Woods. Into the Woods is wonderful. It really was. It was. 6.5 minutes into this movie, I knew it was fantastic. It immediately gets a go-ahead, because it's got Anna Kendrick in it. And if you look at the rest of the cast, it's got Chris Pine, Johnny Depp, Emily Blunt, Meryl Streep, which is nice, but I put her in the Depp category for right now. And actually, who surprised me is it Jarvis James Corden? He's kind of a hefty guy, but he plays Emily Blunt's husband. These are the fresh characters that help put the spin on the old characters for me in this one. So the Into the Woods totally supports that argument. I think that's what helped what kept Once Upon a Time fresh for so long was new characters being interjected, putting spins on the old ones, and not the old ones spinning themselves. So in this one, the baker and the baker's wife lived like next door to a witch, and then his dad fucked up and stole from the witch, so the witch cursed his household. So in order to break the curse on his household and lift the curse on the witch too, which was actually the interesting bit, they've got to go and collect these arbitrarily stupid things that happen to be from these other fairy tales that are all interconnected, and then go through some kind of process to get a magic potion to break the curses. And they have to do it by 3 days' time when the blue moon is, so that they can do it all successfully. So this integrates Cinderella, not Robin Hood. What's the Red Riding Hood, Rapunzel, and there's one more, Jack and the Beanstalk, which I would have loved to see this version, like of this musical type version of all those movies done on their own. Into the Woods is amazing, and you should definitely watch it. I dare to put it on my guarantees. But it is a musical, so it's really hard to do that. So I'm not gonna guarantee it, but I'm gonna say that I would think most people would really enjoy this, if for one reason or another. Let's move on to our last thing here. I want more of the fairy tale movies. I really enjoy fairy tales, and I wish we could get more Brothers Grimm stories, like modernized and ramped up so that they would be a sustainable movie on their own. But you really got to mix them together. They had to do like Brothers Grimm. So a while back, let's move on to Game of Thrones. Netflix messed up and didn't send me the 5th disc. I don't know if I didn't add the 5th disc to the queue, or I hit all and they just didn't get it to me. I don't know what happened. But I watched season 4, spoilers, with the Viper versus the Mountain being the last episode. And I was like, of course that's the last episode of this season. Why would you do anything past that? But they apparently did. And it set up for a lot of things in season 5. And I really think that the season 4 actually ends where I thought it ends. And the things that happen in the last 2 episodes of season 4 are actually like in this like mysterious season 4.5. Like 4.9, like we're like just something that happens before season 5, but after season 4. So it's just where my brain is. So keep that in mind. I almost wish I didn't fucking watch it though. I was fucking depressed, like for reals. Like I was sad. I was like, oh, really? Oh, because the battle at the wall was amazing. Seeing giants and mammoths and like all the fire arrows that just seem pointless. But I remember you have to burn bodies. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Seeing them try to climb that stupid wall, which apparently, no, I can't say that. But that was interesting that they mentioned it later on, about the wall climbing and what the plans were for it. But there's like a really minor assault that did not work. They got into the keep, which I'm actually curious how they got in, unless they had sent people around originally, which doesn't make a lot of sense because they had one big incident with things getting through the southern gate, which is a whole cool thing on its own. And then like you're seeing people like run and be cowards and their minds break, and people you wouldn't think really standing up and being brave, and then this person gets killed and that person gets killed, and oh my gosh, who's going to come out on the end of it? But spoilers, as much as I don't want to tell you all the different people that get killed when and where, the one thing that really saddened me out of the entire episode and kind of ruined it for me was seeing Rose Leslie's character Ingrid die. Because I was really hoping for her to trade her the wildlings and come to the side of the watch as a liaison or some shit. I don't know. I was kind of hoping for what Gilly and Big Boy have, and that did not happen. That was really hard to watch. Is that fucking punk kid? I want to kick him. I was just like, every time I saw him after that, I'm just like, how are you alive? That does not work. She couldn't do it. She spared his life. Fuck. It was like super romantic and silly and just perfect. But I don't know why she was so exposed. She obviously spent too long there, and then he was a stupid dick. But and then the whole thing with Tyrion and his wife, and I don't know what her fucking problem was by that point. That like she was ready to kill him. Spoilers. So like they actually fought, like they legit fought, and he did what he did, and he apologized afterwards. I guess the whole point was to try to keep him as a good guy. And I just don't see it. I don't see he doesn't have to be a good guy. He just has to be a guy that survives. Because the whole situation's super fucked. But that was awesome with him and Tywin Lannister. That was fantastic. Shoots him, and he's like, does this super slow reload. And he's just like, what did I tell you? And then Tywin just says the stupidest fucking things. He got himself killed. He could have talked his way out of that. And maybe talked himself to a point where he got his pants up, but it's just ridiculous how political Tywin Lannister could be and then still get himself killed. And then what was the other thing? The new episode. Really slow episode, it felt like. It's definitely a setup episode. Like we see Arya hit certain things that are really sad part. Spoilers. With her and Needle, that was worse than watching Tyrion kill his wife. But it's like the worst hiding place in the world. It's just like a cat hits that rock right, and some stupid kid's gonna come up there to play and find the damn sword. It's ridiculous. And the idea that these agents of Bravos can't find value in tools, clothes. I get disavowing your identity. I get it. I do. I promise you, I get it. But throwing away money, melt it down, repurpose it. Throwing away iron, melt it down, repurpose it. It's their first new knife blade as an agent of Bravos. What was the other thing? And then Needle, if nothing else, melt it down and repurpose it. You should be able to recognize that as a tool, as long as you disavow the emotional attachment to it. Because it's actually a really good assassin's weapon. No one's going to be looking for that custom-made sword. You drop in beside somebody, you use it like a stiletto, and brain them, and it's done. And then you ninja out of there. Oh man, I'm telling you, missed opportunities. And I just maybe I don't know if it's playing too much games or what, but you get into resource management of situations. I'm just no, don't race that. I really care about recycling, but there is a point where it's not cost effective, whether it's through effort or whatever. And here where I'm living, it doesn't feel cost effective to try to recycle because I don't know where to take it. I've got to make a special trip, not X amount of days every so often, but when a bag gets full, it's just not, no. But it pains me to see shit go to waste, a lot. Which is probably why I'm so fat. But Dim titties, dim titties. So we'll go ahead and dance our way out tonight. Hopefully this was something enjoyable, and we'll see you next time, or you'll see me next time because I'm not a creepy voyeur person stalking you. Yeah.